WVTT is the news station that brings you news and information that you can depend on. We are first, fast, and accurate, bringing you the only local television news in the Twin Tiers. WVTT, depend on it.
Taking our first look at WVTT weather. Mostly cloudy overnight tonight. Maybe a lake effect snow flurry as well. But the big story tonight, weather-wise, are the low temperatures.
That's right. It's already very, very chilly outside right now, and what we want to be aware of is that there is that thin layer of ice under all of that powdery snow that we got earlier this morning. So when you are walking around, maybe walking from your car to your house, be careful with that black ice.
Yeah, and also be aware temperatures overnight dipping as low as the single digits potentially in the higher elevations. Officially in the city, a low of 13 degrees. Complete weather details straight ahead here on WVTT.
Now, WVTT Global News Update.
New Year's celebrations took on a somber tone in Venezuela on news that Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez is suffering new complications from recent cancer surgery in Cuba. Rafael Romo has our story.
A call for all Venezuelans to pray for President Hugo Chavez.
We know that our prayers are accompanying Chavez in his battle that he's been fighting, and that's precisely what he wants. He wants joy and optimism to make a reality the transformation he's been fighting for.
There were masses held for the Venezuelan president who's recovering from cancer surgery. Government officials also canceled traditional New Year celebrations and concerts to give people an opportunity to join the national call for prayer.
It's an ecumenical prayer. It's a universal love and a planetary feeling for a good man, for a patriot, and somebody who gives of himself to his people.
The mood has been somber among Chavez's supporters, especially since Vice President Nicolás Maduro, speaking from Havana Sunday, said Chavez's condition is delicate.
We were informed of new complications arising as a consequence of a respiratory infection that we knew of already.
Rumors of Chavez's failing health have spread on social media like wildfire, but Venezuelan Science and Technology Minister Jorge Arreaza has sought to put an end to the frenzy. On his Twitter account, Arreaza wrote, "My fellow patriots, do not believe in ill-intentioned rumors. President Chavez has spent the day calm and stable with his children next to him." The government has yet to inform the Venezuelan people what kind of cancer Chavez is suffering from.
Chavez has wanted to keep this a secret. He succeeded in that, and he's been able to do it because he got treatment in Cuba. And the Cubans are very good in keeping secrets. And that was for him a high priority.
Chavez has not been seen in public since December 10, when he left for cancer surgery in Cuba. And unlike prior occasions, the socialist leader has not made any phone calls to state media to let people know about his medical condition. Before leaving for Cuba, Chavez left Vice President Nicolás Maduro in charge of all government affairs. After winning the October presidential elections, Chavez is supposed to be inaugurated into a new term on January 10th. But there's no indication yet from the Venezuelan government whether he's going to be physically able to attend his own swearing-in ceremony. Rafael Romo, CNN, Atlanta.
Flu cases are on the rise. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, influenza has hit the south central and southeastern parts of the United States hard over the past few weeks, and other sections of the country are seeing flu outbreaks. But this is also the season for common winter colds. How can you tell which illness you have? Here's Catherine Kim with today's Health Minute.
It's the season for sneezing and coughing, but when it comes down to telling whether you had the flu or just the common cold, it's sometimes almost impossible. The flu and the common cold affect the respiratory tract, but they are caused by different viruses. And the flu is caused by a stronger virus that, if not taken care of, can develop other complications such as pneumonia, bacterial infections, or require hospitalizations. Symptoms of the flu are usually worse than those of the common cold. They include fever, body aches, extreme fatigue, and an intense dry cough. Common colds usually just come with a lot of congestion, including runny or stuffy noses. There are tests that can be done in the first few days of an illness if you need to make sure you or a loved one don't have the flu. Little ones, people with immune problems, and the elderly are susceptible to flu complications. If you are still uncertain, call your doctor. The best way to avoid the flu is to get a flu shot, and there's still time. The flu season usually goes into late February, early March. For today's Health Minute, I'm Catherine Kim.
A Brazilian woman sparked outrage when she posted a video on YouTube offering her virginity to the highest bidder. But residents of her small town discovered the reason why. Much of that anger turned to sympathy. CNN's Shasta Darlington has the story.
Rebecca Bernardo gets a lot of stares when she pedals around town on her red bicycle. Ever since the Brazilian high school student posted a video on YouTube last month.
Rebecca.
My name is Rebecca, she says. I'm here to auction off my virginity. She says she was motivated by desperation, but inspired by another Brazilian, Caterina Migliorini, whose offer to sell her virginity through an Australian website got widespread publicity and modeling contracts. We visited Rebecca in her remote farming town to ask why she made the video that set off a firestorm in Sapiaçu and echoed around the country. I made up my mind right after my 18th birthday, she says. That's when my mother suffered a stroke. The stroke left her bedridden, unable to feed herself or go to the bathroom alone. Rebecca says she tried selling cosmetics and worked as a waitress, but the money just barely covered the salary of a caretaker for her mother. There comes a time when you have to make decisions to get what you want, she says. You have to be strong. The first day, her video got 3,000 hits. The reaction in her hometown was swift and hostile. When she started the auction, people in the street threw coins at her, says a local mechanic. But I never looked at her differently. Attitudes now have started to shift.
This is a very small town. Everybody knows everybody. But what's really surprised us is just that most of the people we've talked to are sympathetic with Rebecca's desperate situation.
Neighbors remind us that Rebecca's sister died years ago and she never knew her father. She has no one to go to, no one to help, so this is the only solution she found, they say. But Rebecca's mother is devastated. What do you think she should do, I ask. She should look for work, she says. She shouldn't prostitute herself. Rebecca says she's received 3 bids, the highest for $35,000. A Brazilian TV network offered to pay medical expenses if she called off the auction. But now her desperation has turned to dreams. She wants enough money to care for her mother and start a new life in a different town, but wouldn't say how much is needed. The TV deal fell through and the auction is back on. It's a lot of responsibility to face alone, she says. I'm not really prepared. In this town, there's wide understanding the family needs help. But so far, at least, the help has not been forthcoming. Shasta Darlington, CNN, Sapiaçu, Brazil.
Meanwhile, on Wall Street, a big update. Taking a look at WVTT's Wall Street Wrap-Up, presented by News Radio 96.7 WVTT. 308-point increase for the Dow, closing this afternoon at 13 and almost 413. The Nasdaq up 93 points, closing at 3112, and the S&P 500 up 36 to close over 1462 on good news about the fiscal cliff being solved. Coming up on Twin Tiers Evening News, WVTT Sports, and also the WVTT Severe Weather Action Team forecast with meteorologist Jim Rinaldi. This is News Channel 25 WVTT.